My name is Nicholas Mason, and this is my English 112 final project. I chose to do my final project on the ongoing Israeli Palestine conflict that has been going on in the Middle East over who gets to control the city of Jerusalem. I chose this topic because it is something that people know very little about and has been coming up a lot in the news recently. What has been going on is the Palestinians have been shooting missiles at the people of Israel because they don't agree with how they've been governing their people. Jerusalem has been the epicenter for Jews, Christians, and Muslims for hundreds of years because it is a very holy city to their religion. Um, and most of this actually started after World War One, when the Ottoman Empire fell, and it was left to the British to decide who got to rule the area between the Mediterranean Sea and the modern day country of Jordan. They chose to call this place Palestine, and it was basically just left to whoever wanted to live there. And it worked for about 40 years until World War II happened and the Holocaust displaced millions of Jews. These Jews wanted to have their own country because they were tired of being persecuted and just wanted to get away from all the European mess. So they chose Jerusalem, which was a very holy city to their religion. Um, this was a problem because the Palestinians already lived there and they couldn't figure out who should live where. And this stayed a problem until 1967, when the British actually left the area and what was called the 6 Day War happened, which was a war that ended up with Israel being declared a Jewish country in the whole area where this was happening. And during the war, they actually took part of Egypt in the south and Jordan to their west, which is where all of the Palestinian people who were displaced during this conflict ended up living. And it's not like they left the country, they stayed in the country of Israel, but they had their own like province. And so over the last 70 years, they've just been kind of fighting over this area because they couldn't decide who got what. Many resolutions to this have been attempted over the decades that this has been going on. The UN actually tried to divide the area in half, and where the Jewish people of Israel got one half and the mostly Muslim people of Palestine got another half, and then the city of Jerusalem would just be open to anybody in the middle. The Palestinian people actually declined this because they just wanted all of the area to be one democratic country. Another solution that was attempted was the a confederacy, which is like where it's not two different countries, but it's two different people living in the area, and they would have a democracy, but it was two different people. So they would all vote on one thing, but they were separate. So like it was just one country, one military, and one everything, but they didn't have to live together. Um, Another option was that they unified the entire area under one government. And this would have worked, but the people of Israel didn't want this because they just wanted to have their own country near Jerusalem. So none of this worked, and over the last 70 years, they've just been kind of fighting over who gets what, and it it's just been a mess up until today where nobody really knows much about the topic.